Alright guys, we are in front of a storage unit that I just purchased. In this video, in this course, we're going to show you a couple of things before I go into the unit and pick anything up, things that I look for when I buy storage units. So this is the storage unit here. You're probably going to see in this course a lot of different storage units, and I'll pinpoint a couple of things that I buy as I look at it. Now, I bought this one online. You can imagine this would be the same thing online as it would live, things that you'll look for when you buy a storage unit. Now, a couple things. One, I like that there's this really nice furniture in here. This is cast iron. It's not fake. On the other side, though, you can see that this is wood, but there's some particle board in there. So it's not like a really expensive piece. But I always like to look for really nice furniture. Now, this being it, and then this guy here. Now remember, I can sell furniture locally. Another tip, guys, is you can partner with a brick and mortar, like a thrift store in your area, and they'll buy this big bulky furniture to resell, so you can kind of get rid of it and still make some money on it. But a couple things I like the solid wood furniture here. That's always what I look for to make sure it's not fake. So that's one plus. Solid wood furniture, guys. Always make sure that you look for it, because it's not guaranteeing really good stuff in the unit, but it means that they spend a little money on their furniture. Another thing that I like is the bins. Guys, remember, each one of these suckers are like $6 with the lid, right? So they spent money on these bins. There's a lot of them here. So that's one thing. Now, one thing that I use is I use these bins to sort stuff, and we'll kind of show you that later on. But the bins themselves sell well locally. So you collect a bunch of them if you don't need them, and you can sell them locally, and people will pick them up for $2 and $3 each, which kind of helps your bottom line, and they're easy to stack. So solid wood furniture, 1, bins 2 in the storage unit. Another thing that I like, obviously, is the couches and stuff. I like that the way that's stacked. You can see there how the bins are cracking under pressure. Could mean that they're really heavy stuff on top. It also could mean that they've been in here for a while. And that's something that you want to look for. Kind of like boxes. When boxes creak on the sides, a lot of times it means they've been here for a while. So I like to know that they haven't been in here for a little bit. But this is a 5x10. Another thing that you always want to look for is fragile. That's something that you got to kind of understand, that it could be either direction. It could be a box that they use that said fragile, or they could be labeling their stuff. I love it when they label their stuff, because that means they care about their items. And that's one thing that I care about too, is when they show a little pride in their items, there may be some good stuff in here. So remember, I bought this one online, so I couldn't go in it. I couldn't see it. It was all from pictures, and that's kind of it. So that's a few things in this storage unit in particular that I like to see. The solid wood furniture, the bins, the way that they crack means they probably haven't been in here for a while, and a couple of the labels on the boxes. Those are all really good signs when you buy a storage unit. For this course, I have to buy storage units to kind of show you these things. So you may see me at different units showing you different things, because not every single unit will have everything that I look for when I buy a storage unit. Now, this was an online auction. So I bought this from storagetreasures.com, and I'm just coming here to pick it up. So we will do a video on things I like seeing through the pictures of online. But I also want to do a video and show you why I picked this unit, and kind of go over a few things before I even go into anything. So that way you guys can see it before I even unpack the unit. So the first thing that I like seeing about this unit was how meticulous they packed. So this is literally, I have not moved anything in the unit. So you're going to see the first time I'm seeing it. You see how he meticulously packed everything. So when you look at your pictures online, you kind of want to zoom in and see how well are they packing stuff. Is everything all over the place, or is it stacked nicely, right? And it's stacked very nicely. It's like, you know, very nicely stacked. Now, another thing too, that's number one. Number two, what I also love looking at is, are they writing on their boxes? This one says "this way up." It means he cares about his items, right? That's one of the things that I love to see. Do they care about their items? You know, when people store stuff, a lot of times they're too lazy to write on the boxes what it is. They just store it. And see how that one says glass, that one says "this way up." So he cares about his items. But more importantly, one thing that I looked at, number 3, is you always want to look at the furniture. Yes, this is not a really expensive piece, but it's a pretty nice piece. And look what he did. This was visible from the pictures. He wrapped this thing extremely nice. So he cares about his items. The idea here is you want to see how much they value their items, so you can gauge if it's going to be, you know, good profit or not. So he definitely took care of his items, which is really nice. All right, so for the next thing, guys, the way that it was set up was like this, basically, in the photos. That's kind of how it was set up. The one thing that I noticed, though, is in the photos, they had all these fishing poles. Now, not all fishing poles are created equal. Some of them don't go for a lot of money, but there's some that go for a lot of money. But the reason I like this is because it shows expendable income. You want to look for these things that shows expendable income. Extra money that they had to spend that they didn't necessarily have, you know, things that they didn't necessarily need, but they still spent the money, right? So that shows expendable income, and that's one thing I love. So fishing equipment, sporting good equipment, anything that they don't need on a daily basis, I love to see in storage units because they had a little extra money to spend on that at one point in time. And then one of the other things, guys, and we'll kind of go over that, is I did notice some really beautiful trunks in here. See how it's stacked up in the back. You have to zoom in on the photos, and I'll show you that when we do our next video on things to look for when you're buying online. But I really like the fact that there's these in here. Could be musical equipment, could just be full of, you know, anything really. But I like the way he stacked up those. So that's kind of the way I liked when I profiled the storage unit. Make sure that you kind of go over these things. Now, one last piece that I noticed is, you see this old computer? Excuse me. A lot of people shy away when they see old computers. Old computers, like I noticed this in the photos, right? I also noticed an old typewriter in the photos. I actually love seeing that stuff because it means that they have been using old equipment, so there may be some vintage stuff in here. So if I see old computers like that, I don't shy away from storage units like that. In fact, I embrace them. Because if you see old computers, old typewriters in here, there may be some really old stuff, and that's kind of what I'm after, the treasure. And so that's the reason I love to find that type of stuff. So old computers, old electronics, that is a good sign to me, where most people wouldn't think that would be. So, all right, so that's just a few things in this storage unit in particular that I love and that I looked for even before I stepped in and bought the storage unit online. We'll do another video with me screen sharing storage treasures and a few other sites like LockerFox, Bid13, and I'll show you kind of things that I looked for before I even bought the storage units to kind of give you an idea if you're going to be buying online versus live. All right, guys.